Today, I'm taking this luxury ship for 2 weeks from New York City, 5,000 miles by sea, all the way to San Francisco. I'll show you exactly what it's like to live on board, from my first class suite to the fine dining and opulent facilities on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure. We'll pass through multiple time zones and countries along the way, with the highlight crossing the legendary Panama Canal. With that, let's pick up our story in New York City. Well, hello there and welcome back to the channel. You join me here at the historic Beekman Hotel where we begin our epic journey. Without any more to say, let's head straight over to the cruise terminal. Rather conveniently, our ship departs from the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal, which is all but a 10-minute drive from Lower Manhattan. Here she is then, the brand new Cunard Queen Anne, which will be taking us all the way to San Francisco. She's a pinnacle class ship, and on the larger size too, at over 1,000 foot in length, or 3.5 Statues of Liberty. Let's go get on board. Firstly, I need to drop off my luggage, which is dealt with efficiently by the port staff, and in no time I'm walking over to the main terminal building. Upon entering, I'm directed over to security screening. The whole process seems pretty quiet, which is a surprise given the ship is fully booked with nearly 3,000 passengers. Now to check in. As we're in a grills cabin, we're able to use the priority line, not that it makes much of a difference. Like any cruise, there are several formalities to complete, and after checks of my passport, documents and with a credit card on file, I'm approved and issued my cruise pass. This will also act as my room key throughout the voyage. Let's get down that gangway then, and into our new home. A quick scan of my freshly minted cruise pass, and I'm welcomed on board, finding myself in front of the grand lobby. Naturally, we'll fully explore in due course, but now let's head up to my suite located on deck 5. Deck 5 is home to a variety of staterooms, but today we're booked into a grill suite located mid-ship, specifically 5133. Well, welcome on board the lovely Queen Anne, but most importantly, welcome back to the channel, Mum.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Back on a Cunard.
Back on a Cunard. Well, you are the channel's resident Cunard expert.
Yeah, I haven't been on this one though.
No, well, I'm excited to see what it's like. But first of all, let's get ourselves unpacked and take a proper look around. This is what's called a Princess Grill Suite, at a moderate 302 square foot. Inside there's a comfy bedroom area, available either as a king or as 2 single beds. Moving onwards into the living space, there's a desk cum vanity, along with tea and coffee making facilities. You'll also find a comfy lounge area, complete with a large 42-inch television. As a grill's welcome amenity perk, there's a complimentary bottle of Prosecco, though I've made other arrangements. There's also a balcony, but we'll take a proper look at this once we get on our way. Finally, the bathroom, which is on the compact side of things, boasting Penhaligon's amenities. There's of course a walk-in shower with a proper door, rather than those dreaded shower curtains. With day turning into night over New York City, our departure is imminent. And after the mandatory safety briefing,
you'll find your life jacket in your stateroom's wardrobe. In an emergency, you may need to wear it.
We're ready to depart from our berth and sail off into the night. As we pass under the iconic Verrazano Bridge, where exactly are we going? Well, of course the destination is San Francisco, but our first segment of the route will take us some 1,300 miles south to the port of Miami. Well, now we're very much on our way. It's time we start thinking about dinner. You may be familiar, but Cunard is quite a formal ship, and tonight is one of their formal nights, in which case I've come quite prepared with a dinner jacket. So without any more to say, let's go and get changed. Oh, good evening, Mum. Don't you look lovely?
Oh, thank you very much. Why don't you come and join me for a glass of champagne?
I think I will, and champagne we have. Well, thanks to a particularly good duty-free offer at London Heathrow, I've got us a bottle of 2015 Dom Perignon. Well, cheers, Mum. Happy voyage.
Happy voyage. Cheers.
Shall we head to dinner then? For our first night, we're heading to the Cunard Grills, which is essentially a ship within a ship, accessible only to those in suites. This is located on deck 10. Welcome to the exclusive grills. But what's the difference between the Princess and Queen's? In short, they're a similar proposition. Of course, Queen's does offer elevated staterooms, but in terms of these restaurants, Queen's offers a private dining space. Cuisine changes each day, but does include the likes of caviar and fine cuts of steak. As for the Princess Grill, well, we're about to find out. Like the Queen's, there's assigned seating, and we've got a table together, which will remain the same throughout the cruise. Okay, tonight's menu. It's extensive, and most impressive for an inclusive restaurant. With our orders placed, let's kick off with a couple of glasses of Le Rhum Perrier Rosé. One thing that isn't included in this or in the Queen's Grill is alcoholic drinks. To start, we both ordered the Thai vegetable spring rolls, which are delicious. For main, Mum goes for an off-menu vegetarian special. Cunard are by far the best when it comes to dietary requirements, and can pretty much make whatever you want, much to Mum's delight. I meanwhile go for the duck à l'orange, which is prepared tableside for me. How epic is this? To close proceedings, we both have the bitter chocolate cremeux, which is rich and creamy, a real delight. Post dinner, we thought it appropriate to check out the Royal Court Theatre, which is located on decks 2 and 3 forward. Back in our room, what does Mum think to our first night on board?
Really nice. Lots of lovely, nice things to eat.
Lots of lovely food. I think it's a sign of things to come. So I think with that, we'll catch you in the morning.
Good night.
During our sleep, we've made it to the first stop of the trip, Miami. We have some time here to get off the ship, and it feels most bizarre disembarking here without luggage, given the amount of times I've passed through this port on various cruises before. First order of business is to jump in a taxi and head to South Beach. I know it's super touristy, but I am after all a tourist. We've got about 5 hours here before we need to go and get back on board, so I thought it's the perfect time to stretch the legs and explore this awesome city. I decided against a paid excursion here, as frankly I love to wander around Miami and don't need to part with $200 to do that. Instead, I put this money to good use and take Mum shopping on Lincoln Road. Oh, and introduce her to a Shake Shack shroom burger. Now to visit an old favourite of mine, Ball and Chain in Little Havana. I'm not sure why we're even looking at the menu, because there's only one choice, a mojito of course. With the sun setting over Miami, it's about time for our departure. So where's next? Well, we'll sail southwest some 1,300 miles, all the way to Panama, because of course crossing the Panama Canal is coming up. So what are this evening's plans? Well, we want to check out the Sky Bar located on deck 14, and given the weather is warmer now, being further south, it's the perfect occasion. It also offers a pretty unique perspective thanks to its forward position. Oh, and don't worry, we're going to properly explore tomorrow. In terms of drinks, the selection is wide, but again chargeable. We're settling with the most fitting Queen Anne Edition gin with some Fever Tree tonic. For tonight's dinner, I've booked us into the ship's flagship restaurant, Sir Samuel's, named as such after Cunard's founder, Sir Samuel Cunard. He was responsible for establishing the first scheduled steamship between the UK and North America. We're warmly welcomed by the maitre d' and shown over to our reserved table. Shall we take a look at the menu then? Of course it's a steakhouse, but the chef has already given Mum a number of vegetarian options, cooked specifically for her. We start proceedings with another glass of the delicious Laurent Perrier Rosé Champagne. And it's not long before our appetizers are laid out before us. Mum has a vegetarian Caesar salad. You'll have by now guessed I've gone for the caviar with all the trimmings. Now for main course. Mum has a specially made spaghetti dish, unique but the reviews are in and it's fabulous. Meanwhile I'm presented with a selection of steak knives. And the main event, the steak, served with thick cut chips, onion rings and mashed potatoes. To close, you bet I'm going for dessert, in form of the New York style baked vanilla cheesecake. It's divine. With that I make it time for bed. Night all. Good morning. I've elected to do breakfast in bed, something which is offered for all staterooms on board on an inclusive basis. I'm not quite convinced on the legitimacy of this English breakfast, but it's still tasty, albeit a tad on the cold side. Shall we take a proper look at our balcony then? It's absolutely perfect for two, and ideally positioned to view tomorrow's crossing of the Panama Canal. Okay, it's time to take a proper look around our ship, as we walk over to the outer deck. You're most likely wondering how I'll stay connected at our upcoming ports, and indeed when we arrive into San Francisco. Well, that's thanks to Airalo, a convenient eSIM technology provider. Airalo makes travel seamless, because I no longer need to get a physical SIM when I land in a new country, or buy an expensive global plan. Instead, I simply buy one of their affordable eSIMs before my trip, and once I land I have access to data roaming without having to do anything, keeping my original home number. Airalo is so useful when I travel to multiple countries, like this cruise, where I'm travelling through Panama, Guatemala and the USA. Because they offer SIMs in over 200 countries and territories, they have eSIMs which cover entire regions like Europe, the Middle East and Asia. Stay connected during your next trip, cheaper and hassle-free by downloading Airalo now, using my link in the description, or by scanning the QR code right here. Plus use code TrekTrendy3 for $3 off your first purchase. Airalo has made my life so much easier and cheaper, and I can't wait for you to try it too. So, the outer decks. We'll start at the Panorama Pool Club, located on Deck 9 aft. It's one of my favourite spots on board, and never feels too crowded. From the large pool, dual hot tubs, ample sunbeds, and of course fully stocked bar. But I cannot get over the mesmerising views off the back of the ship. Heading up a level to Deck 10 brings you to another more secluded space to lounge in. Something I'm a huge proponent of on board ships is plenty of outside space, which surprisingly there's a lack of on some mega ships. Though I'm happy to report Queen Anne has plenty, and due to her size, it's especially good for getting the steps in. Something which was controversial with many when launched is the grille's terrace, which is placed in the middle of Deck 11. It's great if you have access, but if you don't, you'll have to walk down, across and up to pass it. Entry is granted by a code, despite saying on their website it's accessible by a keycard, which would be far more convenient. Anyway, the space is well utilised up here, with 2 infinity hot tubs, even more sunbeds, and these neat push for service buttons. There's even a help yourself drink station, but that's where the other space comes in, located under this skylight, the Grills Lounge, taking up the space between the Queen's and Princess Grills restaurants. It's ideal for a mid-morning coffee or pre-dinner drink, but do bear in mind they're chargeable. There's also a concierge desk here if you have any reservations to take care of or Wi-Fi bills to pay. Side note, the Wi-Fi on board is fast but excessively expensive at $950 for Mum and I. Next up, the Pavilion, located on deck 9, and I'd say the most popular outside space of the ship. Boasting a mid-sized swimming pool, sunbeds and 3 hot tubs. The real party piece is the space can become an inside one in adverse weather, and at the touch of a button, the glass roof will fully close. Facilities also include a wellness cafe, serving up healthy eats, and a not so healthy bar, which also serves juices and shakes. I of course need to try this for research purposes, and Mum comes to join. I have the sea colada detox, whilst Mum goes off-piste with a Japanese drink, which is essentially fermented rice. Now there is one outside space we haven't explored yet, which is synonymous with Cunard's predecessor ocean liners. The promenade on deck 3. Being at sea a lot of this trip, this is one of the best places to get those steps in. For reference, you'll need to do 2.5 laps to cover a mile, and it's fair to say we've lapped this ship many times. Now, an essential ritual of any Cunard voyage is afternoon tea, and that's exactly where we're heading now. Located in the Queen's Room on deck 3, this is quite an event, and run every afternoon whilst at sea. Within moments of being seated, Cunard staff descend on the venue, bearing silver pots of tea. As I said, it's a traditional event, unique to this line, and not to be missed. Staff now furnish us with finger sandwiches, such as smoked salmon, ham and cheese. Of course, live music and dancing is also on the agenda, should you wish. Oh, and as are scones, cream and jam. I always ask this when I have scones on the channel, but do you put jam or cream first? As you can see, I'm the latter. With the formality of afternoon tea over, I've changed back into my informal Caribbean attire. Well, now that we've explored some of the outside decks, I think it's the perfect opportunity to explore the inside, and what a fitting place to start, the Grand Atrium, aka the Grand Lobby, is a central meeting point on board, and happens to host an eclectic mix of shops, from Fabergé eggs, to replica state crowns, to Cunard merch. This is also where you'll find 2 further inclusive dining venues for the Britannia Club and Britannia staterooms. I guess you could call these premium economy and economy if you apply the aviation model. Britannia Club offers a separate, more intimate dining experience to the main dining room. You also have a reserved table throughout your voyage. Meanwhile, Britannia is where the majority of passengers eat dinner, in frankly the most grand dining venue of the ship. However, if you fancy something more casual, you'll find the Golden Lion pub, which aside from being a great spot for a draft IPA, offers a variety of British-inspired food, though Cunard being Cunard does have various upcharges. That said, it's a great venue for a change of pace, and even offers live sports and daily quizzes in between meal times. Of course, there's also a spa on board, located on deck 1 forward. Treatments, as is the norm on cruise ships, are hyperinflated to what you'd pay on land, with a 50-minute Swedish massage coming in at around $220 once you account for the 20% service fee. Otherwise, access to the spa facilities are $50 per person per day, which whilst expensive isn't awful. Anyway, with all this touring around the ship, evening is already upon us, which means dinner time. Tonight I've booked us into the ship's Indian restaurant, Aranya, located on deck 9. This is an upcharged venue at a fixed $32 a head. Menu wise it's impressive, with a wide array of appetizers and entrees to choose from. With our orders placed, we've served some poppadoms, and our drinks arrive. I have a Maharaja Pale Ale, and Mum a white wine. To begin, I have the soft shell Malabar crab, and Mum the roasted sweet potato tiki. Time for our main. Mum has the vegetarian pot sealed biryani, and I the tandoor roasted spatchcock poussin. Both are served with fresh naan. The curry sauce is spectacular, though I found the chicken pretty dry. With no extras to pay for, our Indian adventure in the Caribbean concludes. I awake to my alarm at 6:30 AM. We have an approaching pilot, ready to guide us through the next step of our journey. This is of course what many have specifically booked this trip to experience, the Panama Canal. For those not familiar, this is an artificial 51-mile waterway that connects the Atlantic with the Pacific Ocean. The only caveat, to cross this, our ship will need to make it up some 85 foot above sea level to pass the Gatun Lake and across the country of Panama, then back down the other side and into the Pacific. And how exactly does our ship go up and downhill? Locks, well 6 to be exact. The first step of this process will take us under the Atlantic Bridge over to the first set of locks. Now we get to a fork in the water. On the right you'll see the original Gatun locks, built in 1914. These are still operational, but our ship is too big to pass through here. Instead we'll continue to the Agua Clara locks, completed in 2016. As we enjoy a spot of breakfast on our balcony, it's not all too long before we reach the lock entrance. Each lock will take around 30 minutes, so you can see how this is quite a lengthy process, but it's a truly fascinating thing to experience. Of course this is a time lapse, as you don't really feel the ship move up, but turn away for a few minutes and it's quite a shock to find yourself a few feet higher. To keep our ship in place throughout, tugs are used at the front and back to guide us. And just like that, a couple of hours later, we've ascended to 85 feet above sea level. Now to sail across the Gatun Lake, over to the Pacific locks and repeat the process in reverse. Meanwhile, I'm not sure about you, but I make it time for a caffeine hit. I'd also like to introduce you to the Corinthia Lounge on Deck 3, which is where I've discovered the best coffee on board. These are unfortunately chargeable, but worth it. There are some inclusive snacks though, if you're feeling peckish. Let's go grab a table by the window with Mum. I don't want to miss more of the stunning views outside. In case you're wondering, in order to utilise this shortcut through the Americas, the Panama Canal charge a fee of around $300,000 for a cruise ship of our size. It's lunchtime on board, and we're yet to check out the Artisans food hall. Well, let's be real, it's the buffet. I found myself dining here a lot throughout the voyage. It's quick, convenient, and changes daily. From freshly cooked meats, sandwiches, pizza, and even fish and chips. I'm happy to confirm DC is served up here, though at a supplement. There's something most surreal being on a huge cruise ship, but seeing land either side as far as the eye can see. Next we'll pass under the Centennial Bridge, constructed back in 2004 to alleviate the overcrowded Bridge of Americas. As a result, this is now the sole carrier of the Pan American Highway. Marine traffic increases now as we're about to enter our final set of locks, which will bring us back down to sea level. As with the Atlantic side, there are two here, and we'll again be using the newer locks. It really is such a slick operation, and as a result an average of 39 vessels make this crossing every day. The canal is in high demand, with queues sometimes of multiple days. But it's still faster than the alternative. This of course involves sailing around the southernmost tip of South America via the Drake Passage, adding 40+ days onto a voyage. And just like that, we're out of the final lock. Next, we pass by the country's capital, Panama City, before finally exiting the canal by means of passing under the Bridge of the Americas. Welcome to the Pacific Ocean. We're now on a northerly push up to California, though our next port of call will be in Guatemala, a totally new country for me. Right, I make it dinner time. For tonight's pre-dinner drink, we'll be trying out the Commodore Club, up on deck 12. Tonight we're both going to try the Queen Mary 2 gin, in reference to our previous 2 sailings on her across the Atlantic. Our Queen Mary 2 G&Ts arrive. Despite not being garnished as promised with cucumber and juniper berries, it's still most enjoyable. I've chosen As You Are for our dinner tonight, the ship's resident Japanese restaurant. Unlike the Indian restaurant, there's no set pricing, with this being a la carte only. I'm continuing with a G&T, though Mum has gone back to that delicious LP Rosé champagne. To begin, I go for the chicken katsu sushi rolls, complete with sauerkraut and mayonnaise. Mum has the vegetable gyoza and the tempura. Now for the main event. Mum opts for the spring glass noodles, and I've predictably gone for the Wagyu. Come on, you know me by now. Good morning from a brand new country for me, Guatemala. We've booked an excursion this morning, largely because the port is miles from anywhere, but also because we've not been off the ship in days. Swiped out and walking along the pontoon, it's surreal looking back at our massive ship, knowing that this has taken us all the way from New York. Anyway, our excursion. We're led over to one of the waiting buses, and our tickets are promptly checked. Our drive will take us around 90 minutes, past the most epic scenery. Did you know, despite being a small country, Guatemala has a huge concentration of volcanoes, with in fact 37 in its territory. Welcome to Finca Colombia, a family-run coffee farming business founded in 1925. After being shown around the coffee plantation, we meet the owner, Margarita Asensio, who explains the entire production process, taken care of in-house. We also get to try some, and whilst perhaps not prepared to my preference, certainly packs a punch. Back at the port now, it's time to reboard the Queen Anne. It's been a brilliant, albeit brief, dip into Guatemala, but I certainly want to return. As for now, it's time to set sail. Our final leg of the trip will take us all the way up to San Francisco. Welcome back to another sea day. Though our focus today is to talk all things money, as this trip isn't exactly cheap. But first, it's breakfast time in the Princess Grill. We're offered a choice of freshly baked pastries, to which on this occasion I simply must indulge in, along with a barista-made cappuccino to start the day right. To eat, Mum has the vegetarian cooked breakfast, and I the spicy avocado on toast with a poached egg and hash browns. And as promised, what did this endeavour cost me? In total, my cruise fare was just under $26,000. These Panama Canal cruises unfortunately don't come cheap. As for the rest of the day, we relax, and we enjoy the scenery making our way up the Pacific coastline of North America. Shortly before 4:30 AM, we begin to glide gently under the iconic Golden Gate Bridge of San Francisco. I may be very tired up at this hour, but I'm happy to say we finally made it. Now clearly I had to go back to sleep, and we awake at a far more appropriate 8 AM. Disembarkation is smooth, though as this is part of a world cruise, many are staying on. After one last swipe of my cruise card, we're out and onto the gangway for the last time.
Hi and welcome to San Francisco.
Yes indeed, welcome. What an incredible experience it's been. Mum, how's your journey been?
Oh, it's been great actually. I mean, it is a long way, but it's gone so quickly.
It really has, hasn't it? Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining, and we'll catch you all again next time.
Bye bye.